Barry all the time. Now here, while it has some of those elements, and you're right, it does jump around, but there was a real story going on, like something I could follow, and characters I really loved and identified with. And more than anything, it had really sharp dialogue, really, really sharp and funny and quick, and that's what just kept it going. It kept me laughing throughout the entire thing. And even at that three-quarter point where it started to slow down, because it comes at a point where, like Amber Heard, you love looking at her. Yeah, you're right. She's pure sex.
I know. She was the first girl I ever saw where she gave my eyeballs hard on. You know, shit was just sticking out my eyes,
and
man.
it's surprisingly one of the few movies where she doesn't get naked. I don't know what the decision making was.
Well, she does silhouette naked.
Yeah, but
not Amber Heard naked,
not
which is
Amber
what we
Heard
expect.
Naked.
Yeah.
But there does come that point where I was kind of like, you know what? If I was to do this movie, I would either clip her part to make it much smaller or cut it out, because it almost tries to go into like a romance angle toward the end.
It goes nowhere with her character.
It goes nowhere.
It feels like she only is there to illustrate how much more the journalism and all the things that Kemp has discovered means to him than woman. You know, he's like, yeah, she's great. She's sex. She's everything a man could want. But I got to do this.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? With the way it handled just the drinking, and maybe because, you know, I never was one to take a bunch of LSD, so I couldn't identify. But
we can rectify
with
that.
the drinking, I was like, oh, God damn, this is like having that long month of just hardcore drinking with a buddy. By yourself, you might go like, I feel like shit, I got to stop. But if you got a friend egging you on, it's a lot harder to stop. You're just going from one crazy adventure to the next. And
okay, so that was last week for you.
Any given week.
Yeah. And had I seen this movie before the Halloween party, I might have slowed down. Be like, I don't want to end up like those guys. But I don't know. Just a lot of the adventure and just how crazy it is. It's a lot of fun sometimes.
It is still a lot of fun.
It's fun and it's painful, and you have fun laughing at them and with them. Honestly, if not for the Amber Heard slip, I was just like, man, I think this is like a high full price for me. And at that point, I was like, well, okay. Maybe I need to calm down. Maybe not quite a high.
Well, now that you're at that point, what would you give it?
But I still give it a full price. I enjoyed it so much. I mean, and for me, having really good dialogue, that means so much more than a lot of other things do. So yeah, it's a full price.
And such good memories of your near brush with alcoholism.
Well, also, like,
it's still kind of near.
I give a lot of.
He's sitting next to him right now.
Hey,
remember me?
He's brushing as we speak.
I have to give a lot of props to Johnny Depp, who I often blow off as like, oh, he's too overexposed, but I really liked how much subtler he played the character here. And he's one of those few guys who can mug and not make me annoyed. Like, he does a lot of double takes and just reactions, but they're all funny, as opposed to like Kevin Smith, where you're like, all right, stop that.
Yeah.
It's not cute.
I'm just happy to see Johnny Depp's face. You know,
I know, right?
Without a bunch of shit all over
he ain't wearing no mascara.
He's not a CG chameleon.
Or a crazy hat or something. Or he's got some fake buck teeth. You know, it's like, God, when I saw him, I was like, my boy, that's what he looks like. Welcome back, Johnny.
It's a little frightening, though, because you see him and you're like, wow, dude, you could still be on 21 Jump Street. You're so young looking. It's just, he looks younger than Amber Heard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, okay, you know that he's at least 20 years older than her, but to see them together, they look just as natural as anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the end of the movie, he sucked all the life out of her. She's just a skeleton. He's like a fucking mummy.
She said working with Johnny Depp on that film was the greatest experience of my life, and every woman in the world went, yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Well, I was going, duh. Well, what can I say that you guys haven't rambled on about this film already?
Leon's double taking right here.
I let y'all talk the whole time. I was gonna save up to the
I
end.
know, Cole. You should have seen the review he gave me last night. I was like, did you like it? He's like, I dug it.
One time I try to say something, I got this one over here. Like, well, I sure would like for Cyrus to be able to finish giving his synopsis.
I know.
If the two of you would shut the fuck up.
If only we had a big ass jug of if only we had a big ass jug of rum right now.
Oh, did I do? Oh, you talking about me?
About you.
I thought you were talking about.
He ain't talking about me.
Rum running off at the mouth.
Yeah, please. Let my boy Cyrus continue over here.
Yes.
Anyway, back to the synopsis.
I thought it was really great. I agree with you, Leon, as far as like the sharp dialogue and the performances where for me, I was really like sitting there going, wow, you know, I'm having a really great time with these characters, and Johnny Depp is acting his ass off because this was a passion project for him, and you can really see that watching the movie. Yeah, Amber Heard, she was there just to look fucking hot and give fucking Corey's eyes a hard on, but that's other than that, you know, there was no real need for that story there. The only major problem I had was just how abruptly the film kind of ended. Like, it was really building up to a linear type story. I could can see what they're trying to do, but I know it's not going to work. And right at the moment where it came to a conclusion, I wasn't at all shocked. But I knew the audience was going to be shocked because that's all I could hear was like, wow, they kind of it just fucking dropped. It dropped like fucking Hunter S. Thompson like blacking out. And boom, it hits the floor. And you're just like, okay, is there going to be a sequel to this?
You know, it's weird because I remember hearing people in the audience saying that, like, well, that's it. And
That's all I heard.
I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah, me
To
neither.
I was like, well, that's a logical place for it to end.
Well, you know,
that's how
I did feel that way. Maybe because they were just building it up so much to where when you saw what happened, you're just like, oh, okay. Even though you kind of think, well, that's kind of the logical way it probably should end. But for a movie, you feel like you're missing out on something.
I like how I say like I've seen the movie. Yes,
I agree.
I see what you're saying.
But I mean, the thing is, I'm only giving points because of the performances and the dialogue. This is definitely like a full matinee for me. Okay. I mean, I enjoyed the fuck out of it. Yeah.
All right. So the nature of Thompson's works are very meandering anyway. They're just they're almost stream of consciousness. And this in some ways is more tightly constructed than some of his other works in that sense, and yet it's considered to be the least of his works in many ways. And you say you don't like Fear and Loathing because you didn't understand it. It was all over the place. It's like it was just in a totally different type of storytelling. I mean, It was one of those you go back, you see several times, you interpret the stuff you show, and the book is the same way. This is so much more of a conventional story in so many ways, and yet it's still trying to cleave to Thompson's still meandering style. And it makes it where there's points where the movie just kind of stalls at points. It's like, well, so we're here, and this is where the book is, so I guess we'll just be here for a little while until something else interesting happens in his story. But it could have used a lot tighter direction. But the script, in the terms of what is obviously taken right from Thompson's book, some of the dialogue is just so sparkling and so funny that it lifts you right past those moments with general ease. Yeah. I'm going to give this a high matinee because almost entirely of that, and because of Johnny Depp, once again, doing a great job playing this character. He's a younger, and I'm sorry, he's playing Hunter Thompson.
Yeah.
He's a younger
I didn't say
Hunter.
he wasn't.
I know,
Look at me.
Well, no, I mean, he really...
Hey, man, you're the one trying to put your boot on our necks. Like, don't say it's Hunter S. Thompson. You're going to confuse people.
That's right.
He is a young Hunter.
You.
Just because y'all are Hunter S. Thompson efficient, I speak for the common person, okay? God damn it, somebody has to.
He is a young Hunter Thompson, so he's not as exaggerated as he is later in Fear and Loathing, where he's all and now he's just a kid. He hasn't taken really any drugs. He's just kind of nervous. He's like, man, Puerto Rico sucks.
How does he do?
He goes, now
you know that was you this past weekend at your Halloween party.
Well, yeah, I turned into Hunter Thompson.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Now, one thing I will say is, like, even though I don't like Fear and Loathing, after I saw this movie, I was like, you know what? If I own that movie, I would go watch it right now.
It might be a
You'd
film
watch it
if you
again,
have problems with it where you go, I don't really get what's going on in this film, and a lot of people had those type of complaints. Watch the commentary is fantastic on it. It's a great thing if you're interested in Thompson as a person and what was actually going on there. There's a great track you can watch with that.
I'm not really interested in Thompson. I'm more interested in what he's doing, which is what I do anyway.
Take lots of drugs.
Yeah, get drunk and do stupid
have
shit.
sex with
I'm more
Amber Heard.
interested in Cyrus's Charles Bukowski that he was doing a little earlier.
Charles Bukowski didn't sound like that.
Yeah, he did with the blah 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 blah. Yeah,
He's
he
got
did.
more of a growl.
I'm sorry, that's the hamburger.
I thought it was the cat lady from the 70s.
No such thing as 470 proof alcohol.
What we do is private.
Front seat's gone.
I've got a brilliant idea.
Try and look normal.